Hi, yes. My name is Julia Hurrell and I'm the bench chairman for about 120 volunteer magistrates in Gloucestershire. I am now retired, but I used to work for the NHS and I was one of their business managers for about 15 years. Well, I am the senior magistrate in the county and I'm the point of contact for the local magistrates, and I also work closely with the court staff. And I think there are two main areas of work. I support the individual magistrates, particularly with regards to personal issues. And I also represent the bench on the regional forum and on other groups like the Gloucestershire Criminal Justice Board, which is organised by the Police and Crime Commissioner. But I think the important thing to say is that I don't do this on my own. I have set up a leadership team. So I have two deputies and we have the bench chair panels from the youth and the family panels. And so we can cover everyone's needs more effectively. And I think that was particularly important during the pandemic. There was, plenty of people. We were able to share some of that responsibility. We have an annual selection process, and I applied and was appointed after a ballot from the bench. And this is my third and final year as bench chair. Well, I've been a magistrate for the last 28 years, and I started when I saw an advert in our local paper looking for younger people to join the bench. But I have to say I've never regretted that decision, and being a magistrate is about delivering justice for your local community, and I'm really proud to be able to do that. Well, I sit regularly as a magistrate, but really the bench chair is a leadership role. It covers a wide range of things, including supporting individual magistrates when they have problems which might affect their sittings. So, for example, this could be for health reasons. And particularly during the pandemic, there were a lot of people who couldn't sit, either because they had a health issue or they were shielding perhaps a relative, and so were anxious not to come to court, because during the pandemic, the courts continued to run and we were sitting in court. But as well as that, the court staff liaise with me on matters that affect the whole bench, such as bringing in new IT systems. Some of the other things I do, I put together our monthly newsletter so we can keep the magistrates informed with what's going on. I took an active part in our local annual legal service at the cathedral. And one of the things I do enjoy doing is the swearing in of the new police officers, and being able to talk to them about what it's like in terms of they do the front end of the judicial process, and we as magistrates, we do the sort of the far end, if you see what I mean, and just getting them to understand what it's all about. Mostly the same as just being a magistrate, but you do need good organisation and communication skills. I think it's also quite useful to have an awareness of what's going on in the county. Gloucestershire is quite a small county, but understanding some of the local issues and also knowing some of the influential people who can help to get things done. I think you need to have an empathetic understanding of other people's problems and be a good listener. But I also think it's important to speak out and be prepared to challenge some of the court staff when you don't think things are right, and just be determined to get things done and make sure that you're doing it on behalf of the whole of the bench. Highs are definitely being part of an effective team and resolving problems and for other people. Let me give you an example. For years, the court roof has been leaking, and we have a bit of a joke of having buckets strategically placed. And I have been, since I've been the bench chair, I've been going on and on and on about we have to get this sorted. And it is finally being repaired. At the moment, we have people on the roof repairing the roof. and I'm really pleased about that. But also individual things. So, for example, I was able to congratulate one of our legal advisors on achieving 40 years as being in the court service, and just really nice to give someone some sort of chocks and some flowers and say thank you for, you know, being a really effective and important member of our team. The lows, I think the sad thing for me actually in Lowe's was getting some very rude emails from magistrates who didn't like things when COVID was happening, and they didn't like the changes, and they just thought, I'm going to explode, and just send not very polite communications. And sometimes you just have to accept that people get very frustrated and very stressed out, and it's been a difficult time, and just go, okay, fine, I'll just move on. No, you have to accept that it's going to take a lot of time, and I could not have done it when I was in full-time employment, but there were no barriers put in my way. It was just a selection process, and people either thought you were going to be good at doing the job or they didn't. So, you know, they either voted for you or they didn't. I enjoy being involved in the wider issues around the court service and getting things done. But I also enjoy helping people on an individual level. And I have found out so much more since I've been the bench chair. But I get a real personal satisfaction about being a volunteer and making an important contribution to British life, which is delivering local justice. And that, for me, is actually really important and very rewarding. Well, of course, I would say go and do it, because I really enjoyed doing the job. But I think as a starting point, probably the best thing to do is to go and have a look at your local courthouse, go and try and talk to some local magistrates. And we often get involved talking to people about what magistrates do and how you become involved, and then just apply, give it a whirl. You've got, you know, it's quite a complex approval process, and there's plenty of training, so you don't need any legal knowledge. That's the legal side of things is done by your legal advisor in court, so you just need some common sense and commitment, and that's it. And yeah, give it a go. For me, it's been a really important part. So having been on the bench for 28 years, I've done a number of roles. So I have been a mentor, I've been an appraiser, I have been on the training and approvals committee. And so the bench chair is, if you like, the sort of culmination of all of the things that I've done in the past. And I think, well, I hope I've done a good job. Certainly my colleagues seem to appreciate the efforts that I go to, but it's also given me a huge amount of personal satisfaction to know that something that I've been working for over the years has made a considerable difference. So that's good.